It's Good News Friday. All my parts came in unexpectedly last night from FedEx. That was good. So I've already got a head start on this job, and I've replaced the screen wash jet in the front before I put the window in. But you don't always have to take the window out to do it. In fact, you don't have to take the dashboard out to do it. A lot of people struggle on trying to undo this little nut at the back, you know, with a pair of pliers. That's bugger that. Drill off the head on the outside, what's remaining, then pull this through, you know, your nut will be wound right down to the bottom. Pull it through, up through the ashtray, get your new nut. Now these old ones are 13mm, and I found out the new ones are 14mm. Put the nut over the pipe, alright, wait a minute, I'll show you, totally unprepared. So, this is your existing pipe and your nut, like that. So what you'll have done is, you'll have drilled the head off, pull that through the ashtray, take this off, and with your new screen wash jet, get the nut, push it over the pipe, push this through the dashboard, push your pipe onto the screen wash jet, pull it back through. I know it's descriptive, but it does work. And then, all you have to do, with your fingers, you can actually put the nut back on. And just nip it up a bit. It doesn't need to be super tight, but you can get it in with your fingers and just give it a little nip. It doesn't need to be monster tight. And try to avoid turning the jet itself, because this piece is glued onto the vertical bit, and that's the bit that drops off. So just be careful. You can just hold it and tweak it just a little bit, you know, but it can be done, put it like that. It's better with a friend. A lot of things are. Now, I've got a load of stuff to do today. I've got the checker plate to come in for the wing tops. We had those, we got these, I think they're anodised, I'm not sure what they are. Or powder coated, I'm not really sure, but to tell you the honest truth, it already had some black checker plate on it before. And to get those powder coated here, where I live, it was actually cheaper to buy new ones already powder coated and ship them over. How mental is that, eh? We've got the screen rubber, and if things go well, I'm tempted to ring up the company to get them to come and pop the window in today, because if they do, because it's Friday, then I can press on with all the insides this weekend. And then we're sort of bossing this job off. I've also got the tinted glass for the door. I'll show you that now. So here's the tinted glass. You can see a piece of white paper behind. They're going to be perfect. The only thing is I've got to swap out the metal rail at the bottom. That's going to be fun. But again, we'll do that on a separate video. This is just a sort of a little bit of a preamble to what we're going to be doing. So I think the first thing on our list today is fit the rear door trim, and then that door is all finished. So let's get on with that. This video is going to be just as much about fitting a door trim as it is about lighting, because I've got some new lights now thanks to all my Patreons, and they're really nice. So I'm experimenting with different filters to see which is the most acceptable light. Sometimes the white light is too blinding. Natural light, well, this is natural light, I think. Anyway, to the door. Let's have a look at it. I'm impressed. You know, I mean, I am impressed. Why didn't Land Rover do this, for crying out loud? Why has it taken bloody 40 years to make a nice plastic moulding like this? And it is a nice one too. Unfortunately, there's no maker's marks on it. But it's nice. Look, it's all one piece. Remember them struggles on we used to have with that bit of cardboard, or masonite as they call it over here, and it had a piece of, well, what could only be called half-assed vinyl roughly stuck onto it, and then this bit was a separate unit that used to fall off. This used to break off. Those days have gone. And also they screw it on instead of clipping it on. Now, I did, like I said before, I read on forums that they said, oh, the screw holes don't line up. Oh no, oh dear, all the bloody snowflakes out there. Well, get a drill, drill the holes. You know, it's nothing much to do. And I'm going to fasten them on with stainless steel screws. So, whoa, this is it. Now I knew I was going to tell you something that's quite important. This door trim does not have a cutout here for this. Let me put the camera down a bit, then we can see. It doesn't have the cutout for this. Now I'm going to keep this on, this dovetail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece out to fit. So it's going to take a little bit of trimming, if you see what I mean, to go around there. So we've got to mark out that quite accurately, and we've only got one go. But I think it's once that's on like that, that's going to look spectacular. And of course, before we do the final fit, we're going to put some more rust proofing in. Now I'm not going to show you how to do that because you saw how I did it before with the top frame. It's just exactly the same, but I didn't want to get blathered up with the rust proofing all over the place. And I can see on the floor where it started to drip out of the bottom here. So obviously we're doing something right. So the first things first, I'm going to take off the wiper motor. Why? Well, that's all right. Where have they gone? Yeah. I've got new grommets to go through the door. Now I didn't think you could buy them. AMR 3932G, which means it's a genuine part, so we can put the price up. Now, there's a grommet goes in here, and the grommet goes in the door. It's worth doing because sometimes with the action of the wiper motor moving about, and this, that and the other, what you find out is the grommets get torn. And it doesn't look nice, not on a car like this, so we're going to replace it. So first of all, we're going to do that, and while the wiper motor's off, we're going to fit the trim, because we can slide that trim in and mark out exactly where it's going to go because working around this is a bit of a pain. I'll sort of try and explain. You see, we've got to get the handle through the hole, we've got to bend this panel, you know, we've got to go like that, and force that into there, but it won't go because of this, you see. See what I mean? So we've got to mark that out. But by taking the wiper motor off, it's going to make it an awful lot easier. Now I haven't fitted one of these before, so bear with me and I'll give you some instructions, alright? So let's get this motor off. So fitting this card is not as easy as you think with all the pieces on. So what we're going to do is just put our fingers under the bottom, not under your bottom, but under the bottom, slip the handle through, and working off the bottom, we're going to mark off here where that lock is going to go through. Unfortunately, it's going to go right through this little bit of moulding, but I don't think there's much we can do about it. And then, offering this up to here, oh, damn it, if it was only that bit. Wait a minute, how am I going to do this? I think I'm going to have to get a measuring stick out. If you can see this. I'm going to measure from the edge of the door. Oh, look at that, that's almost set perfectly. I'll bring this in and mark it, and I'm going to pull it back. I'm going to mark it there, look. See? When I'm cut down there, and I'm going to cut here, and I'm going to cut here. I'm going to cut inside the marks first. You can always open it up, but you can't put material back on. We want it to look nice. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I trimmed down the panel, and that's what it ended up looking like. I've got a little bit more filing to do around there to make that a bit squarer. But the general idea is, now it goes on. There, like that look. It looks really neat. Now, this doesn't really go right to the very edge. It won't, because some other bits are stopping it. So we've got a bit more trimming to do. But I'd rather trim a bit up than start to putting things on. So you've noticed here I've put some tape on the window, and that's where the grab rail goes, you know, for shutting your door. Now I'm going to go in the container and find that grab rail, because I'm hoping that it's going to go around this box. If it doesn't, well, I've got to think of something else. I think it might. But anyway, look, the handle here, the slot here machines up beautifully. That's been nicely done, and it does fit right. But like I said, this is a universal cover for all sorts of series doors. So some didn't have this on, well, not series doors, but Defender doors. Some didn't have the dovetail on, some did, some didn't. So you've got to trim it. But I'm sort of happy with it so far. But once I've got it like that, and I know I can't go further that way, I'm going to put a little screw in the top here. So that's going to be my reference point to work all the rest nice and square. And it's lovely at the bottom. It feels, some people have got to have a laugh at that. The bottom feels lovely. It's nice and flush. So again, it really does fit nice. But we've got to have to work off this lock, like I said, because this lock now is butted against the back of the plastic, and I don't want to take much more off. So I'm going to grab the handle. We don't have to do anything here to these nuts or plates or anything like that. That's going to hold on. And there's a screw here and a screw here. So I don't think we have to worry too much about putting screws through there. I don't think it really matters. And of course, once we've got a screw through here and a screw through there, my next cause for concern is down here on the hinge, on the check strap, should I say. The bolts need to come, that needs to be just trimmed out just a little bit more. I'll put a trim mark up there, look, because it's butting against the side of the bolts. I probably can't see it. Well, maybe you can, but oh no, it's coming on quite good. Very pleased. Right, let me go and find the grab handle. That's going to be cold. Oh, bit of good news, I found the handle and it's going to fit fine. So we're going to mark out the holes here, and we've got a little bit of wriggle room in here because these are quite big. So if we make a mistake, well, we're not too bad. They only are little 6mm bolts that hold that on. So we're going to mark that out now and do all our cutting at the same time. A little bit of fiddly, but not a bad job. Looks 1,000 times better. I've filled it full of rust proofing. You didn't need to see that because it's kind of straightforward. You just fill all the cavities up. And I haven't painted this handle yet, but I wanted to make sure it was going to work and line up. The wiper's on. I've lost the grommet for the outside that covers the threads. I think it fell off somewhere. Anyway, I'll find one somewhere. And one tip I want to tell you is that before you box it all up and things like that, just make sure the wiper's working and you know it's parking properly, because it's a pain in the backside to take it all back out again and do it. But I'm very impressed. It's a lot better than the Mud UK one, I must admit, because the Mud UK one you had to fit little brackets on the sides. It was a bit fiddly. This is really easy, but be prepared to do some cutting around here and some trimming around these bolts down here. I'll probably zoom in a little bit and you'll be able to see what I was talking about. Oh, I never get this right, can I? Yeah, you see around here? The bolts are just a little bit too long to be covered by this piece of plastic. Apart from that, you know, a few finger marks. Oh, I've gone wrong again. A few finger marks in it and it's done. So, that's that. The next thing, I think I'll move on to the front doors. I don't know what time it is now. Oh, it's only 10:30. I think we'll go for a cup of tea and do the front doors. But just before I wrap this up, I'll do a little rant. I've just got off the phone with the company to put the front windscreen in, or one of them, and it was like the Spanish Inquisition asking me all sorts of questions. I said, all I want, I've got a brand new screen, brand new rubber, I want 2 guys to come down here and put it in. Take you 15 minutes. In fact, it'll take you longer to get here than it does to do the job. And this young receptionist, poor little girl, I think it must have been her first day, because I don't think she knew what I was talking about. And you know, he said, what's the car? I said, it's a Land Rover. what's a Land Rover? And I thought, oh, we're going to be here for a while. Anyway, we got through all the rigmarole. She says, earliest we can do it is 2 weeks. 2 weeks! So anyway, I've contacted the owner, who've got a large dealership network, and I'm going to pass the ball to them because I want this window in pretty quick. So anyway, rant over, doors next. I realised when I played back this video, the light was too yellow and you didn't really see the real colour of this panel or the fit and finish. So I'm just using a handheld, and there you can see it. So it looks really good. Yeah, no, I'm impressed. I'd fit those all the time now. No problem at all. They look good, honestly. Not too bad to fit. The second one I'd know a few more tips. But just for you guys, this is the one to choose if you've got a Series or a Defender, to make it look standard. And that looks really, really good. Alright.